to the Fever for this week's Coach's Chalk Talk session, and we're pleased to be joined this week by Roosevelt first-year head coach Greg Pointer. Coach Pointer, appreciate you coming in.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
The Eagles pick up a big win this week and really make it a big race now in District 3-2A with a last-second win over Abernathy. Coach, talk about the game. You guys, especially the last 3 weeks, have had a penchant for big finishes and exciting finishes out there.
Yeah, I tell you what, really our whole season has been going that way, but the last 3 weeks especially, we started off our first game against Post and got beat by 1 point. Then we traveled to Littlefield, played probably one of our best games of the year. They kick a last-second field goal, beat us by 2 points. Come back and really squeaked by Slayton, who played a great game against us, and beat them by a touchdown. They were driving late. But then the big one was Abernathy, and we felt like we knew all along that was going to be a big game for us, and our kids did a great job. And we were ahead 27-21. They drive all the way the length of the field and score. Make it 27-27. Looks like with a minute and 50 to go, they're going to go ahead. We blocked their extra point. One of our kids, Kevin Fowler, scoops it up and goes 91 yards and for the 2 point. And we go ahead by one. You'd think that'd be it once we recovered the onside kick, but we couldn't stand Prosperity. We fumbled on our very first play, but came up with a big stop and was able to get a win. And it was a really big win for us. It got us back to 2-2 in district and got us to a point where we control our own destiny now.
Talk about the job you've had to do out there at Roosevelt. I mean, the Eagles have been a pretty good team the last few years, just haven't been able to get over the hump. They've been and they've just kind of been hovering there right out of the playoff picture. What is it that you've been able to maybe instill in these kids that's really kind of pushed them over the top, seems like this year?
Well, I appreciate that. I tell you what, we do have some athletes, and we've got some great kids. And, that's one thing when I went there, I tried to convince these kids how good they were. Mm-hmm. And it was a little hard at first, I know we go to Post and they say, well, we've only beat Post once in the last 22 years and, Idalou and all these. But it's been more of a mental thing than anything. And I will tell you this, coming from Millshoe, we came from a very successful program there. And I think that gave me a little credibility with them. And then I was able to bring my 3 boys, 2 of them are on varsity. And I think they've helped a lot too. They've been in a winning program. They know what it takes to win, and they provided great leadership. But I will just tell you this, that the kids from almost the minute we've been there have just bought into what we're doing. They're hard-working kids. They're great kids. I can't say enough good things about the kids at Roosevelt.
You mentioned coming from Muleshoe. Did you talk to them and say, hey, this is how we did it at Muleshoe? We have the same kind of kids here. There's no reason we can't do it here.
Absolutely. In fact, I told them from the very first day I got there, our O-line, and I'm not talking bad about Millshoe, I love Millshoe, but I told them, I said, hey, our O-line's every bit as good as we were in Millshoe. We've got skilled kids that are every bit as good, if not better, than what we had in Millshoe. Now, they hadn't been in the system, and so that takes a little while. Mm-hmm. It's a brand new system for them. They were mostly smash mouth. We spread it out. But I kept telling them there's no reason we couldn't be that type of team, that type of offense. And really, we have been. I think we're averaging 32 points a game. We've been very consistent every game offensively, and we're starting to get a little better defensively. But I think the main thing is the kids are just really starting to believe in what we're doing. And, if you can win a couple of these close games, all of a sudden it gets a little easier when you get in those close games. They have something to go back on. And in the past, I think that was a lot of their problem is in the close games, it's almost like they always found a way to lose those games instead of found a way to win them. And we've been able to win 3 really, really close games. Our first game of the year, we were down 29-0 in the second quarter and fought all the way back, scored on a last-second drive to win. And, it just kind of set the tone for the season. Now,
one thing, obviously, you bring the attitude from Muleshoe. You also bring a lot of the playbook offensively, defensively, bringing the spread offense. Talk about, and we've seen what Muleshoe's done this year, but what, and you guys have put up some great numbers as well. What is it, have you tweaked anything as far as, maybe to fit the kids, or what is it, that is making this offense so successful with your kids?
Well, we have tweaked it a little bit. We're a little bit different than Millshoe in that we run the ball a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And of course, part of the reason is we've got a great back right here. Yeah. Kobe Torres is a great football player. And like I said, our O-line is a little bit bigger than we were in Millshoe. And so we feel like we can be a little more physical with some of the teams. And, that's one thing we used to talk about in Millshoe is when we'd get in some of those really close games against real good teams that had athletes back there. Sometimes we had trouble moving the ball because we couldn't run it. And so we've really made a commitment to running. And our O-line, I won't mention them all, but they are doing a great job for us.
Designing here, when you're throwing the ball, especially, are the kids looking for zones? Are they reading where certain people are? What are they looking at?
Well, in our offense, and I'll just give you one typical play that we run. In our offense, the first thing we try to do is make a pre-snap read. If we're playing anybody and they want to, you know, say we've been hurting them with the run or whatever, and they want to try to keep 7 guys in the box to us, then we'll just check hot. Anytime we have a receiver that we feel like is uncovered, it was funny. Friday night we were playing and we had been hurting them with the run. Abernathy, it was third and about 2 foot, and they brought everybody inside the box. Well, we were in our spread set. Well, it's one of those times where Brian, I can see he's checking, and I'm going, no. Well, he throws it. Sure enough, we catch it and go down the sidelines for about 25 yards. I said, yeah, good call. But you know, anytime somebody's hot in a pre-snap read, we'll throw it or we'll change the play and get something to them. But, you know, most teams are going to, you know, give us a regular look and keep either 5 or 6 people in the box. We run a play. We try to make it not too sophisticated for a high school quarterback to read. We run a play, what we call our choice play, where we get this receiver and he's just going to go down and he's just going to basically replace this backer right here. Well, that's all our quarterback is looking at. That's all he cares about right there, because we're gonna clear out the corner and we're gonna flare our back in a hurry. We just tell him, hey, this is a one-person read. If this linebacker wants to stay in here and cover the tight curl, then right now we're going to get it out to an athlete in space. If this guy jumps it at all, then we're just going to try to throw it in there. It's not a big play for us, but it's an easy play. It's something that gives our quarterback a little bit of confidence. Anytime we need an easy pass play, we'll run that. Another thing we do in our scheme is we try to throw a lot of quick screens, short passes, you know, stuff that takes advantage. And like I said, we just try to we feel like we have pretty good athletes back here, and we just try to get them in space one-on-one and let them make a play.
Well, you mentioned hot reads. Well, right now there's nobody hotter, I don't think, than the Roosevelt Eagles and the way they've been playing right now. Coach Pointer, we appreciate you coming in and joining us this week.
Thank you very much.
When we come back, we'll run down this week's games, and I'll give you my picks right here on the Fever.